All right, do you want me to go ahead and begin?
Um, I'll I'll give a quick introduction. So, hello everyone. We will wait a minute for the attendees to connect, and then we will start. Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to our webinar, Masters and Doctoral Programs at the University of Kentucky. My name is Karen Botero, and I will be hosting this webinar on representing Viva-Mundo. Well, first, I would like to tell you a little bit about Viva-Mundo. On our website, you can find all kind of information to start the process of studying abroad. So we invite you to read our articles and find information about different programs, degrees, language courses, destinations, application details, visa information, and so on. Today, we are joined by 3 panelists from the University of Kentucky. I would like to introduce Emily, Suzanne, and Angela, and they will be talking about the master programs and the doctoral programs at this prestige university. So if you have any questions, please ask on the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we will go back to them at the end of the presentation. Now, I would like to give the floor to our panelists, Emily, Suzanne, and Angela.
Hi, and thank you, Karen, for the great introduction. My name is Emily Shearer. I am a graduate assistant at the graduate school, and I'm also a graduate student for the University of Kentucky. I study diplomacy in international commerce, and I'm going to be going over the layout of our website because it's an important tool in when you're investigating programs and deciding what the next course of action will be in your studies. So what I've got here is our home screen. And as you can see front and center, we have the COVID-19 updates. The University of Kentucky has been working diligently on keeping its students safe, and we actually have been featured in the New York Times about the protocols and the ways that we're going about returning to in-person classes and how we're working to keep students safe during a difficult time. So this is a good place to check in and see what we're doing. And as far as what else is on here, you've got your main links that you will see on most school websites, information about admissions and recruitment, finance. We have professional enhancement office that works with students to prepare for the end of their studies and to move into their careers. And then we have, of course, academic services for students who need help preparing for finals, getting their records procured and getting everything finalized. And that takes care of all of the like dotting the I's and T's, getting everything ready to leave. Then you can go down here and you see news and announcements, upcoming events, and then we've got the main links. So we'll start up here at the top. If you want to know more about any of the staff, any of the officers that you could be speaking with, you can check here through About Us. But you're going to want to focus on prospective students, and we'll start with graduate programs. The University of Kentucky has over 200 graduate programs, and they're all listed in this extensive list here, and all of these are clickable links. So I will pick one that I go to the Diplomacy International Commerce. So if you click here, it'll give you all of the information you need to know about the program. You can find information. Sorry, this is really large. Make it smaller. There we go. You can find all the information about what you can do with this degree, the different types of masters, the different combinations of degrees that you can use. And then, of course, at the bottom, you have your application requirements. These are different for each program, so it's important to review this section. And then if you have questions after reviewing it, you can always reach out to the program or to the graduate school, and we can help you find some answers to those questions. So here you will find contact information for each program will be on the right-hand side. And this is usually the Director of Graduate Studies, and they're in charge of keeping the program online and making sure that students are aware of how the program works. They can answer any questions that you have. It's important, though, to keep in mind that the Director of Graduate Studies is in charge of reviewing your application. So any communications you have with them, you're going to want to keep professional and make sure that you're polite and everything is kosher in that regard. But you can find their title and their email here. And then at the top, you can find the information for admissions, financial aid, and the Apply Now button, which will take you to the portal where you can fill out your application. This is on every page within the programs section here. And then some of the programs, I'll show you an example, have additional program websites that they've developed independently. Those can be found here. So you can follow this link and see their independent websites that they've built on their own. Those will occasionally have more information about specific classes. So it's great to get additional information that way. So back up here at the top, you can also look through our graduate certificates, which students pursue in addition to their degrees. And these offer small introductions into the different fields, and it's usually about 3 classes, and it just kind of gives you a general feel for the field and something to help round out your studies as you are studying at the University of Kentucky. So also in this Prospective Students tabs, you can find admissions information. This covers stuff such as conditional admissions, which are occasionally given to students who need to complete English language training. English, oh my goodness, English language training. That's really hard for me to say. And then you can read more about that here. We have a few different programs and options for readmission, stuff like that. So, and then we have a housing tab, which you can find all of the information on how to apply for housing. And then we also have the Living in Lexington. This is Lexington, Kentucky's main tourism page. So this page is not sponsored by the university. This is sponsored through the city. So you get a good look at what all is offered in Lexington, which, as you can see, is largely horses and bourbon. We love horses and we love bourbon. So one of the main questions we get, of course, is how do I get funded for graduate school? We have a page for that where you can review information regarding the options that you have. These will include assistantships, and they have all of the information that they can provide listed here. But I would inform you that assistantships are based on your program, and that is where you would inquire about open positions and how to move forward with applying for those positions. Then you can see there's also fellowships. To apply for a fellowship, you do have to go through a unique portal that is accessible from this web page. But we do have listed all of the fellowships we offer, as well as the requirements that you must meet for each one. There are a number of different ones, so I would take a couple minutes to read through there and see if anything would apply to you. But any of your funding related questions can be found here. We have a frequently asked questions page that's very useful to students. And then there's everything you'll need for once you're accepted. The Professional Enhancement Office has their own tab on the website where you can review the things that they offer. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, you can find the graduate school staff listed here and all of our emails. So if you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to us in that way. Suzanne, Angel, do you guys have anything to add about the main web page here before I move on?
Thanks, Emily. I'm Suzanne McGinnis. I'm the Assistant Director for Admissions and Recruitment for all of our graduate programs at the graduate school. And thank you for doing a great overview of what's on our webpage. It's sometimes hard to find things when you're on so many different pages, so that's really helpful. I think one of the big things that we need to try to figure out and try to help students navigate is that admissions process as you're trying to review what programs are available and then how to apply. So as Emily's pointing out to our prospective students page, if you go there, you'll see an outline of what the application process is. Our application process is completely online. You create your application, submit your documents, unofficial documents, that is, as well as the contact for any recommenders online through our application system. But before you even get to that point, you have to figure out what you're actually going to study. And Emily pointed out to a great page, and that is our graduate programs page, which has our listing of all of our programs. So we have a question in our Q&A, and a student is asking about, a student who graduated from a zoology program is asking about applying for related majors for the graduate level. Emily, can you take that question and guide him through it?
I can. Of course, here at Kentucky, we have a large focus on equine science. And so based on your zoology degree, I would assume that you would be interested in veterinary science. And feel free to add to the chat there if there's other programs that you see that you would like me to talk about. Unfortunately, the University of Kentucky does not offer a pathway to becoming a veterinarian, but you can get your master's degree or your doctorate in veterinary science, which is the science that supports and the research and stuff behind the actual veterinary work. So you can see here the requirements for those two programs. These are pretty basic requirements, and you've got your application dates there. So if you're more interested in the research aspects of that field, then this would be a fantastic fit for you. Again, without being able to talk to you directly, I don't know.
So another program that students generally who are studying zoology in other countries tend to lean towards is our biology program. So we have a master's PhD program, but generally they start in the master's program. We can have either thesis option or non-thesis option in the master's program. And this is where you'll want to take that zoology degree if you want to focus on within that stream going forward. So I'm not sure from the person who asked the question where they want to go, but the starting point would be to start at this site, go over what's required, and you can link to the programs page. I think it's a little higher on that. The actual biology page.
Which one are you wanting to
do? Should be linked on there. Go down a bit. That's all. But if you can, let me find it and I'll put the link over there to check out their page as well. Regardless of what program you're applying to, you will want to do your research in that you'll want to see what faculty and other students are studying within that program. So here I put the link for the biology graduate program in the chat, so you can link to it from there. So you'll want to review what faculty in that program are researching. Does that match with your research interest? If there's something you're really wanting to research and nobody's doing it here, then you might want to keep looking at other programs as well. But if you find that this is where someone is doing the research that you are interested in, or could be leveraged to work in accordance with what you are interested in as well, then that would be a good thing to pursue. So the fact that you are looking into the program, the faculty, the other graduate students, what they're studying, and very often you'll also see already written and published these dissertations listed on each program's website, so you can see exactly what students are doing and what kind of work they're doing. Okay. Let's see what other. So those were the two that we received in the Q&A.
And again, it never hurts to reach out if you are having a hard time finding the information about what kind of research is being done and who's doing it. Still reach out to the program and ask. They're always happy to get back to you with some answers and some examples of research that's going on at UK. And UK is one of the top research schools in the country. So it's a great place to come if research is your ambition.
So we have a question about funding, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our programs have assistantships, either teaching or research assistantships, depending on the obvious type of program. Some are more heavy on the research, some more on the teaching. So that is usually how the majority of graduate students receive funding. Mm-hmm. But as you can see, Emily's also showing you the funding page, which has the different types of assistantship. If you look on the left side, it also has links to external funding sources and different funding once you're a student. So you can take a look there about all of those funding options that are available. Many of the external funding options are really, it's up to the student to apply for them and to pursue that, and they will be dependent on admissions. Similarly with our assistantships, the assistantships are not, divvied up and assigned to students until they are actually selected for admission. And it's at that time that assistantship decisions are made. So to go back, it's like you have to apply to be considered for funding or an assistantship. Another question that students often ask, and it goes hand in hand, is do I have to take the GRE? Many of our programs have, in fact, waived the GRE for the next cycle, and you will find that if they have done so, that it will not show up as a requirement on their page. That being said, it is still required for funding. So if you are hoping to be funded, I would recommend that you do take the GRE, because you then have a better chance of getting funding, especially with any of the fellowships and things like that that students are nominated for. That would be great. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we have some questions from the registration forms, and the one that we have to start off is, how much does the tuition fee cost at the University of Kentucky?
Okay, I've got that ready to go. Now, these are approximate costs. So these are going to be usually on the higher end of the spectrum for what programs will cost. They do vary by program, but this is a good baseline to work from. So for the graduate school, of course, you're going to be focusing on the graduate section here at the end. And then on this page, you'll also see links to the student funding and stuff like that. So all of this is dependent on what kind of funding you get and things like that. But you can see the breakdown here. Is that legible for everybody on their screen, or do I need to read it out loud, or we can all see it? Okay. So this, yeah, like I said, this is the general costs. Students can always find ways to kind of decrease this number by, various means, but this gives you a good idea of what to plan for.
Okay, and you can see at the bottom of that screen, there are some external scholarship and grant resources as well. The PEO scholarship usually is for women international students. It's basically a loan fund that you pay back, and there are other options as well for external funding. Now, so we've shown you two resources on external funding, both on this page as well as on our page as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question related to needs and funding that says, does the university offer any financial aid or financing alternatives?
The assistantships and fellowships would be our main sources of student funding coming from within UK. But again, they do accept those external funding, scholarships, and stuff like that. So it's really a student-driven source of funding there. If they're not going to get an assistantship or a fellowship, then it's going to be their responsibility to apply for all this external funding.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question that says,
Okay.
If I apply, will I be able to start my academic program this fall?
This fall, like 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, let me show you. You'll see. Oh, actually, maybe not. We might be past the date. You can go to application deadlines here and review. We update this for each year. And so the fall semester admission for international students is February 1st, but they will need to look at the program that they're applying to double check. I'll show you one more time where that information is. Each program has the ability to include their own deadlines, which are often, if they have their own deadline, it's before ours. So you'll want to check here and look at their fall application deadlines and just verify that that's because occasionally you'll get a couple who have deadlines in December or by January 1st. So you always want to make sure with the program that you're applying to that you still have time to apply. But otherwise, for the graduate school as a whole, we have our application deadlines listed here.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
We have another question that says, do you provide advice on visa requirements?
Okay, I'm gonna let Suzanne answer this question.
So visa requirements are very specifically that you are here for for a specific program of study, that you can show a year of funding for that program of study, and you can show a connection back to your home country that you will be returning, because a student visa is a non-immigrant visa. So that is the basics of the visa requirements, that you should have full admission to that program. But in addition to that, as a university, we can't really provide you additional. I would recommend that you connect with your Education USA advisors in your home country. They are your best resource when it comes to working through that process and getting advice on navigating it.
I got it. Thank you very much. Our next question will be, do you have any internship programs at the University of Kentucky?
So that's the, oh, go ahead.
So internship programs, there's actually a lot of opportunity to do internships very often for international students, though. Your internship has to be part of a specific program of study. It has to be an integral part of that program of study. So it is very much dependent on what program you are choosing. For example, if you are in one of the engineering programs, that internship or a co-op type thing is a requirement of the program. And programs as in the electrical engineering department or statistics department or whatever it may be will help you with those internship placements. The program that Emily is in, for example, diplomacy, requires an internship. And Emily can speak to what it's like to look for internships, especially if you want to stay within the area, because your internship could be anywhere.
Yes. So searching for an internship is basically you're searching for a job. So you're going to use the information that your program's providing for you, but oftentimes they are telling you, go find one and return to us with a an acceptance from one of these programs. So you'll find in the United States that internships are listed on job sites. And you apply for them as you would a job. So it's important to have a really good resume or CV, continuously updating that with what you're learning in school, even coursework that can be applicable to your internship. And it's also important to understand that internships are competitive, just like any job would be. And so you'll get, I applied to probably 7 or 8 internships and I got accepted to 2. So you have to be prepared to get rejection letters, and to really fight for a position there. You have to go into interviews with the correct attitude of this is basically a job. Luckily, the United States internships are leaning more towards paid programs for their interns, but that's not across the board yet. So you have to also be prepared to work without pay in some instances, and so you have to make sure that you've planned financially for that possibility as well. And so there is plenty of opportunity, especially in Kentucky, but you have to be willing to fight for it and to potentially not get paid.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question related to jobs and employment, and it says, does the university offer career services after the graduation?
Yes, we do have a career services office, and I don't have that pulled up, but I could probably find it for you really quickly. Let me just get Zoom to cooperate here. You can find it the same way I did just now by Googling it, career services at UKY. But they have a whole career center built around helping students find jobs and developing their career. They can help you write your resume. They can help you write cover letters. They will work with you on finding jobs that are appropriate for your field. So yes, we do have this readily available to students. And then the Student Center here, you can see at the top, they do have other things that they can provide to help students. I know particularly, I don't know why my video keeps turning off here. They offer assistance to students who have families and stuff like that. So this is a great website to check out if you have concerns about finding a job after you graduate, and just for any other struggles that you might face during your studies here. So.
As you can see, there's actual specific services for international students, because our international student needs might be a little bit different from the domestic students. So they have very specific set of services for you as well.
Okay, perfect. And our last question is, how is changing the panorama for international students due to the COVID-19?
Did you say that one more time? I'm sorry. How is it?
Yeah. How's it changing the panorama for international students?
Due to COVID-19, COVID has been definitely challenging for all of our students, especially our international students. For someone who's considering coming to Kentucky as a new student, you can be assured that the faculty and staff, and in fact, all of our students, our colleagues are everywhere, are there to look out for you. As Emily talked about, we have done a lot as a university to ensure that we keep students safe. Our international center is constantly in contact with our students and working with them through any issues or concerns they might have. We do testing for our students that the university pays for. And we do it on a regularized basis. And then actually, I think Emily mentioned this, our university has actually been a great example of how to manage this pandemic safely. And in fact, I just learned a couple of hours ago about a new initiative to try and test students at different intervals to see what's the best way to get the best results and keep our students safe. So from our perspective, we're doing everything possible to ensure the safety of our students, our faculty, and our staff.
Definitely. And it's certainly a changing environment, constantly changing. And Kentucky in particular has done a great job of keeping up with that change as best we can. I know things are a little bit trickier for international students, but we are working diligently to make sure that they're accommodated every chance we can. We make sure our international students are taken care of. So in that regard, I'm sure you've seen some of the other things on the news about colleges and stuff like that, but you'll notice Kentucky is not in those because we do work so hard to make sure our students are cared for.
So one of the things that has changed, in fact, is the classroom experience, at least this last fall semester. And we should talk about that, because whereas all of our classes that were on site, on campus, in the classroom, are maybe a little bit different, a bit of a hybrid. So there are students who may attend the class remotely, students who are in the class, different modes of delivery for those students, and different choices that are up to the student to make, but while ensuring that our international students can maintain that international status, because you have to have a certain number of on-campus courses to stay in status as an international student. So our university has done a lot to ensure the safety of our students, but also ensure that they are in status and not in danger in any way or form.
I was gonna say, if I can interject here,
Absolutely.
my name is Angela Garner, and I'm a lecturer in the Center for English as a Second Language and coordinator of international graduate student initiatives. So I actually do teach class, 3 classes a semester, in fact. And we had options as to whether or not the class was entirely online. And if it was 100% online, was it taught synchronously, which means the students are meeting with the faculty member during a regularly scheduled time? Or was it asynchronous, where the students could access information at the time that's most convenient for them? We also had hybrid classes that allowed students or asked students to actually meet on campus, and those number of meetings varied. And then there were some classes that had reduction of on-site participation and met on a more regular basis. So there's been a lot of flexibility and accommodations made to ensure the safety of everyone, but also continue to work towards the ultimate goal of learning and making progress towards one's degree.
Angela, that was great. That's a great perspective from an instructor point of view too. One of the big things are saying for the last 8 months has been we are all in this together, and that's true for all of us as well. We are in this pandemic together. We're in graduate education together, and we all hope to get to an endpoint. And graduation would be a lovely endpoint to get to.
Okay, so I think that another common question among the international students it's about accommodation. How does the university offer any kind of accommodation on campus or on a local family homestay or something like that?
So we have housing on campus, but there's of course a lot of private housing around campus as well. But we can only show you really what the university offers, which is our graduate and family housing options. And that's in the form of apartments and dorm style housing in multiple locations. So Emily's showing you the graduate and housing page with our locations. All of the graduate and family housing apartment or suite locations are very, very close to either your classrooms or research facilities where you might be. They're all within a small distance within campus. The other great thing we have about our campus is a great transportation system. We have our own on-campus transportation system that's provided by the university, but we also link up with our city's transportation for free for all of our faculty, staff, and students. They just have to show their ID to get on the bus and go anywhere around town. And those buses also ply between a lot of the larger apartment complexes that house students so that students can get easily to and from campus. So those are 2 great advantages to Lexington. I can say as having come as an international student myself, for many years I didn't have a car and just took the bus everywhere. And it is possible to do so.
I will mention also the International Center. We have an International Center at UK, and they go out of their way to make sure that international students are part of not only Lexington's community, but the international student community. And so they are constantly doing, hosting events and getting international students together so that you don't get that feeling of I'm in a foreign country alone. They really help form a community and make sure that not only are they physically accommodated, but also emotionally accommodated, which is equally as important in most cases. So like Suzanne said, you can access most of the city, but what she didn't mention is that the city is host to over 180 different languages and over 90 different cultures of people that live in Lexington. So we have a lot of different cultures already existing in Lexington and commingling. And so the International Center really relies on that to help students feel connected to the city that they're in. So there's a lot of various ways that we accommodate international students.
We have Global Lex. Now, Emily, you have some
Yes.
experience with Global Lex.
I did. I interned at Global Lex, which is the Lexington government, the city government's international center. And they provide kind of like a safe place to come if you have a concern about the way you've been treated, if you need help accessing things that you might not have the language skill to access. They've taught people how to drive in the United States. They have tons of initiatives to just help people become used to Kentucky and to help them connect with other people from similar cultures, or to help them connect with people from cultures that they haven't experienced yet, because we do have such a large amount of diversity in Lexington. They also host cultural events, and every month they have new types of cultural art on display. So it's a great place to just go and visit, as well as a great place if you have an issue or you need access to a translator or really anything. They are very active with the international community at Global Lex.
We also have a number of festivals throughout the year in Lexington that celebrate the diversity of our city. The Latin Festival in September, so many things going on. One of the most fun things that's perhaps a little more American as such is our Halloween our Halloween parade, shall I call it, with people dressed up as zombies dancing through the streets, and everyone loves it every year.
Yeah. We have all different kinds of festivals. We have annual runs where we throw paint at each other. All kinds of fun, quirky things that we do in Lexington to promote community. So. I almost forgot to show you guys campus and to talk about some of our demographics here. So I will show you. This is our enrollment by country. This is the entire university, not just the graduate school, but you can see where the majority of our students, our international students, are coming from. And you can also see within the United States where students are usually coming from. But you can see where we've got students from across the globe currently enrolled, and this number grows usually every year. But we have, if you have any questions about a specific country, I can type that in and let you see. But because
and this information is public, so we can post the link, and you can take a look at that in more detail if you would like to look at it and have questions.
And then I will just show you a couple of images here from campus, which we're turned around to the. This is part of our virtual tour. So these are some of the main hotspots here on campus. You can see there's a lot of green space, lots of historical buildings. We also have, this is Memorial Hall. We also have several, We also have several brand new buildings like the Gatton College of Business and Economics, and this is developed within the past 10 years. But the campus is beautiful, it's large, there's lots of, right now during COVID-19, these outdoor spaces that you see are tented so that students have different places where they can go to be outside and practice social distancing while still having access to the school's Wi-Fi and being in a comfortable, studious environment. But campus is part of downtown Lexington, so this is all surrounded by the remainder of the city. This is the healthcare side of town. But you're right in the middle of the heart of Lexington, and you can pretty much walk to downtown amenities. You can take the bus for free, as Suzanne mentioned earlier. But you're constantly in this beautiful green environment and surrounded by old buildings, new buildings, pretty much any kind of architecture you're interested in. And then, of course, we have UK sports, which are a huge part of our local culture. This is the football field. We also have a world-renowned basketball team, soccer team, tennis team, pretty much any sport you're interested in watching, we have. Yeah, do you guys, this is the student center where you can go for lunch. This looks a little different at the moment while we are combating COVID-19, but it is still open and accessible to students to come and get food. If anybody has anything they want to add, feel free.
And the library.
Yes, this is our enormous library, state-of-the-art library. It has a Starbucks inside. It has a, in the basement, and it has a tech center that we call the hub that has just about any piece of tech that you need to use. We have, how many libraries do we have? 7? I think 7 different libraries on campus.
I keep losing count. There's so many.
Yeah, so we have our main library, of course, which most students use for studying, but we also have libraries for individual fields. So we have an engineering library, a math library, all kinds of different things like that. But yeah. Here's our local Barnes & Noble and student shop. This is the main student center, which is brand new, and it has a huge gym, which you can see here. It's pretty extensive.
I think it's important to talk about numbers. I think UK has approximately 30,000 students, if I think that's correct. And Lexington has about 300,000 residents. So that's about the population, to kind of give you an idea of the size of the area. Lexington is the second largest city in Kentucky.
Yes. These are some images of the downtown part of Lexington, the city. This is the Lexington Center where a lot of events are held. This is right next to Rep Arena where all of our sporting events are held. And then this is
And that
Keeneland.
green, and you should mention that that green turns into an ice rink in winter.
Oh yes, this whole section here, this little triangle park, is turned into an ice skating rink in the winter. Yes, if you have the guts to get out and fall like I do. This is our horse racing track at Keeneland, which is where the Kentucky Derby is held and is one of our local gyms. Horse racing and horses in general are a huge part of Kentucky culture. And yeah, now we're back to the entrance to the university.
So Emily, can you post that link as well so
Absolutely.
that if students are interested, they can take a look?
I sure will. I'll do that now. And I believe Karen is going to also place that the link that where you can access that on the information of the Facebook page and everything like that. I believe I sent it to her. So.
Did we have any other questions come up, Karen?
No, we don't. So if any of our attendees have any questions, we encourage them to ask on the Q&A box, or maybe if they want to send us their questions via email. I don't know if we can provide them an email.
Absolutely, I can provide mine.
Get in touch with you.
I just did it.
Oh, thank you.
So you, if you have questions, you can email come2uk@uky.edu, and one of us will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks everybody for attending, or if you're watching later, thanks for watching.
Awesome. So thank you very much for your brilliant presentation. Thank you for answering all our questions and all the questions of our students. So I think that will be the end of our webinar. We invite all the people registered in this webinar and all the people who are watching us on our Facebook Live to visit the University of Kentucky website, and the Viva-Mundo website if you want more information about studying abroad. Once again, thank you very much, Emily, Suzanne, and Angela, for your time and for your brilliant presentation. And finally, thank you to our attendees for listening. We hope you all have a great day, and we hope to see you all soon.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye.